What's up, guys and gals? It's your host from the most, Griever, as always, bringing you guys the latest chapter review for Kengan Omega. Kengan Omega, chapter 228, entitled High Alert. Before we even get underway with this chapter, shall we just acknowledge the elephant in the room? I'm sure everyone who's a big Kengan fan has been in Discords and Reddits and etc., and they've seen so many people talking about, you guessed it, Agito versus Jirota, right? Some people liked it, some people loved it, some people despised it. Some people have gone as far to say that Agito is now trash tier. Some people, it's all over. There's a wide spectrum. Some people making great arguments in favor of why this fight didn't work, or the way it worked, certain moves, panels, etc. Why it shouldn't have gone down that way. Some people making great counterpoints as to why it went down that way, etc. And I've seen, the good and the bad on both sides of the argument. At the end of the day, I'm just here to tell you guys, once again, to clear the air from my perspective is, I don't mind that Agito lost. I don't mind that Agito lost to Jirota, who some of you might have forgotten is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, Purgatory character. Like, I really like Carlos too, but that's, I'm pretty sure it's Arashiyama. I thought he got done really dirty in KVP, and they acknowledged it in this fight and stuff, so there were some good points in this fight for me. My stance is Jirota beating the Fang works. On paper it works, it is a big upset, it's awesome, it solidifies Jirota as this mountain, this awesome pinnacle and stuff like that. It's great. Some of the things that went down in the fight and in the end of the day, the way the fight actually finalized in 227, not so great. But that's my opinion. Am I fine with the end result that Agito lost to Jirota? Yes. Do I like the way it went down or how it went down? No. So that's just my stance on it, guys, in case you were curious. Now, because some of those chapters were live reactions, and the crux or the con of a live reaction, there's some pros to it as viewership, but live reaction is your initial, okay, I'm here for entertainment, I gotta read the chapter, give you guys my immediate thoughts. Well, most people, unless you're all just these major geniuses, most people that can just have the foresight and can do all the calculations like that meme, doing all the calculations at a moment's notice. A lot of us read something and our initial reaction might be different from something after we've read it a few times, had time to think about it, discussed it with other people, and then we come to a different understanding of something and we change our minds, change our opinion. I know, crazy for a manga anime guy to change his actual opinion. But it happens. I know, as rare as it is, it does happen. So I just wanted to clear the air on my stance on it, but I have seen the controversy all over the place. I've seen my own arguments made and been countered well, or, has changed my mind on certain aspects of the fight, all across this week. So it's been a big sort of actual tension in the community. You have your toxic fans in every community, but most fans have been agreeing with what's been going down for the most part in Omega recently, and this one sort of really does have a spectrum of people on one side of the fence or the other. I haven't seen that in a while, so just wanted to acknowledge it here before we get underway with the next. Now that the fight's over, we can move on and talk about other things. So anyways, let's jump into the bad with this chapter right out of the gate, because it's very, very minor. Number one, Kanada. He is, I don't really like him that much as a character. I think he's fine as one of the background characters, one of the characters to give commentating and really has the foresight and stuff. His character arc was sort of one and done in Ashura, so is what it is. I don't hate him, I don't really dislike him, but I don't like him either and stuff. So him being introduced in this fight and against a certain you-know-who is just such a gap. It's such a gap. After we've had these really close fights, Okubo versus Seki, when the two legends fought, it's like, okay. Jirota, one of the two kings of Purgatory, versus Agito with the big upset. Okay. And then to jump to this, there was a better opponent. There were better choices here. This is literally what everybody's been saying, is to show off a certain you-know-who show off his latest skills. We haven't seen this guy actually in a proper fight since the first manga, and a lot of people have been waiting to see what he can do now after the time skips and after the training and stuff. So I think this is going to be an absolute curb stomp, and because the whole deep prediction thing or whatever Kanata called it to Oma in that little in-between thing with the Berserker Bowl or whatever, when he was talking about it, it was something where he said someone he's fought before or knows very well and knows the moves and stuff like that, it's not really gonna work against. So his latest development of foresight and stuff isn't gonna really work against guys he isn't familiar enough with. So yeah, it's sort of an unfair matchup just to highlight. And granted, I don't mind highlighting characters, but I think it'd be better if we had a little bit of a closer gap from the first manga, and then you can see how much the gap has widened since then. Would be a better showcase. So yeah, he's there. Some people love him and stuff like that, but I really doubt we're gonna have another upset back to back. So, and the other minor bad thing is that it's a good and a bad thing, and I say it's minor because Takayama, one of the bodyguards of Metsudo there, who never could become the Fang, was just name dropped as being the 7th after all this time. It really feels like the Oda situation from One Piece, where he thought he had name dropped Captain Kid's Devil Fruit, Eustace Kid's Devil Fruit this whole time, and somebody called that out in an SBS like years later, and he goes, "Oh, I didn't say that. Yeah, it is the Magnet Fruit. I thought I already told you guys that like years ago." He literally forgot. He admitted that. I sort of feel like Sandro straight up forgot to name drop, and now he's like, oh shit, yeah, I should probably do that. So he's here literally and the only reason we know, and it's so, the reason I say it's definitely that is because Misasa, the 8th Fang, who's still currently the 8th Fang, of course, walks up casually and just say, "Hey there, 7th, Captain J's with you, I see." And he goes, "And you're ditching your post, 8th." And they're just casually calling each other by their title, the 8th and 7th Fang of Masudo, respectively. The issue with this is that his tenure as the Fang was so goddamn short. So it's actually, for some people who are like, is he finally going to get his time to shine now that Agito's down? Like, is this guy ever going to become a Fang? Because his partner in crime there was the 4th Fang, and then he lost, part of jaw and stuff to Agito. He got scarred by Agito and stuff, and he's never been able to beat him. Then you had, the Monkey be the 6th Fang and stuff. To just drop that, he achieved his goal. He was the 7th Fang for like 5 minutes. Because remember, it was a the gap, we don't know when Misasa actually became the 8th Fang of Metsudo, but clearly it wasn't that. He didn't have a very long tenure. They don't give us his record or anything, or why maybe, but Metsudo would be like, alright, yeah, now that you've become the Fang, that's fantastic. By the way, I'm going to have you compete with all the other bodyguards for the position, almost in 6 months, because, it's just not happening. Because by the looks of what happened in the Ashura tournament, in the Cat tournament, the 4th Fang probably could have won some matches against Agito in the state he was in prior to fighting, Hatsumi and Kuroki and people like that. So I'm not it just feels out of pocket, and just to drop it casually here in the middle of a chapter just feels like we have been wondering what happened to the 7th Fang this whole time, and it's like this poor character got done dirty. He became the 7th Fang off screen just to be replaced before he even gets a time to shine as the Fang. That is just done dirty. So anyways, yeah, so those two things a little bit meh, you know what I mean? But the rest of the chapter, okay, so there's high security and stuff, and they're talking all about the worm plot line, the end of the war on the worm, these death dealer dudes Remember, we talked about them before. Led by, a lot of people are thinking, is this second connector and stuff. There's multiple theories. I brought that up when Gamukaku and Shen were talking about it and that kind of idea before. Shen kind of did that thing to Gamukaku. At the end of the day, regardless what you believe, this guy is definitely a powerhouse. Whether he's a second connector, the true connector, a different factions connector, what have you. As far as I'm concerned, he is Akira the God Fist. So, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, definitely go read Kenichi's The Mightiest Disciple. Definitely go read that series. It's awesome. But, yeah. Until I see otherwise, that man is Akira the God Fist. So, either way, he's awesome. He's awesome. So the Death Dealer's leader, is mysterious. We don't know who he is, but I know. This we're in the Kenichi world now, and we're gonna elevate the level of superhuman feats here very soon in the next arc of Omega. Absolutely, 100%. So the God Fist has entered now. Outside of the worm plotline stuff that's just slowly advanced, we're just giving that more. We don't know what he is. Here's our military analysis, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't really give us any new information. And then the moment, the big time to shine has come. Hatsumi Sen, the floating cloud, is here to finally show off, but, you know, just, it's awesome. He's up against the giant killer, as I said. The power gap is wide enough with Hatsumi after the Kengan Annihilation Tournament. Hatsumi would beat this guy back then. He's been training. His lost is a thing and stuff. And of course they're talking about the high security. Apparently they're coming here to meet the Death Dealers. They're coming here to meet with the Kengan Association to finally take the war to the worm. You know, because this is sort of one of their big battlegrounds. Because they're talking about the different governments being like, yes, our war on the worm is over. We've defeated the worm. We've captured the worm. All this stuff. But now they're here with the Kengan Association. So what's really cool here, and we got to talk about it because too many people are talking about the Agito Dorota thing. It's over, guys. Dorota won. You know, whatever. And okay, yes, does it suck that Takayama was revealed as the seventh fan? That's this seventh Fang. He might as well be. He's losing a lot of characterization here because we don't even get to see him. Was that done absolutely dirty and just like randomly? Here you go. There's the seventh Fang for you. 100%, 110%. But what's really cool here is we're seeing it. We're seeing he's got the pre-initiative. He's got the inception of intent. It's easier than he thought to pull off. And Hatsumi Sen is there because it seems to the crowd that Kanata is making the first move. He goes to punch him. Hatsumi. And then he goes to punch him again. And just doesn't move. And they're like, wow, he's riling him up by stopping his punches short at the last second to see what his reaction will be. Alright, Sen's not taking the bait though and stuff. And he backs off and he's like, stopping my punches? No. I haven't been doing that. I was trying to hit him. I don't know what happened. And that's when he acknowledges, wait, you've gotten to a higher level. You're on a high enough level to do that. And then it says 1 minute and 31 seconds into the match, Hatsumi Sen makes his first move. So this is going to be, okay, as I said, if this is not an absolute curb stomp, Hatsumi Sen is one of my favorite characters. I know some people, you know, don't like him for certain unfounded, in my opinion. Unfounded, okay, he's a womanizer. But yeah, no, I've always liked, and a lot of the community, some really just can't stand him. But a good chunk of the community does really like Hatsumi. I really like Hatsumi. I've always really liked Hatsumi. I thought that fight against Agito is still the worst thing I've ever seen. But yeah, so Hatsumi is the floating cloud, has been one of my favorite characters since he was introduced in the series. I thought he got done a little dirty just to hype up Agito too much. I thought it was plot convenience when he lost to the evolution of Agito and stuff like that. Had he not evolved before the fight, Hatsumi would have won. Now people are saying that wouldn't have happened, but yeah, it would have. He nearly lost to Gao Lang. It was chance he didn't lose to Gao Lang, and then had he stayed in the same state, he would have lost to Hatsumi in in that fight. I'm still of that opinion. Not saying that Hatsumi didn't have more height to reach, bigger levels to reach, which is what he's doing right here. He's got the Inception of Intent officially, and I mean, that's just adding to his repertoire, especially since he's been training with Mikazuchi. They've been training with the Wu Clan techniques and stuff. If he is, like, he was already an Aikido master, but if he can add the pre-initiative, the Inception of Intent to his repertoire, which already, once again, his eyesight and stuff, remember from his fights and stuff like that, he's able to do almost, he was almost there. It was called something different. It was the limit, the limit line or something like that. Kuroki noted what he was doing, and it was very, very powerful, very like, wow, that's a master level technique. Now he's gone beyond that, and he's able to do what Kuroki and Agito and all of them can do, and as far as the foresight idea and or the pre-initiative idea, and if he's got any new techniques under his belt, those Wu Clan techniques and stuff like that, I mean, who knows what he's got, but if he's adding techniques to his repertoire, I think Hatsumi is going to showcase why he was always solid A tier, and now he's going to be respected up in that S tier right here and now. Once again, my first problem with this chapter, still once again poor Takayama, but my first problem with the chapter was I don't mind Kanata, right? I don't mind him as a fighter or seeing a match of his or something like that, or as a character that much, but this is too much of a power gap. It's too much of a power gap before Hatsumi gains any extra shit. And now that he's gained it, like, it's too wide a gap. This is going to be a curb stomp. If it's not, that's a problem. That's a serious problem. I will admit that's a major problem. If this is not an absolute curb stomp by a now improved Hatsumi. The Floating Cloud was a powerful A-tier fighter at the very least, you know, in the first manga. If he got weaker, that doesn't make any sense. After actually taking himself seriously, after training, after losing to the Fang, it was going to showcase him as, you know. So, I mean, I really think it would have been better to showcase him off against a stronger fighter, maybe a B tier or even the top of C or something like that, a stronger fighter, so that even if there was an obvious tier gap or power gap, we could see Hatsumi curb stomp someone even more powerful. Because every A tier can curb stomp Kanata. Every A tier can do it. Every S tier can do it. And I would argue that the top, wherever you rank these guys, probably the top few of B can curb stomp this guy without much effort. So it's not much of a match here at all. So it's kind of disappointing. Our first outing with Hatsumi, we know it's going to be a curb stomp. If it's anything less, Sandro's fucking up, in my opinion, just 100%. So either way, that's it for me, guys. I know this was a long one because I'm even losing light right now, but it's Hatsumi. He's one of my favorite characters. I am excited to see him show off and strut his stuff 100%, but I really can't be this where he actually shows difficulty after not fighting, after not seeing him in so long. You gotta give us the Mikazuchi treatment where he had zero problems fighting. We need to see the new and improved Hatsumi. This is to show him off, nothing more. I just wish it was a stronger opponent that he curb stomped. That's all I was hoping. But anyways, what did you guys think of the chapter? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And are you still a little salty? Got a little salty over that Jiroda Agito fight? I'm just letting it go because the end result doesn't bother me. The way it happened did, and that's fine if it's like that for you too. But Agito is no jobber. Agito is still a top tier fighter, 100%. He does not lose in his ranking or on my tier list at single spot just by losing to Jiroda. Jiroda, if anything, just goes up higher than I had him before. That's all that happened. It's still a great, maybe not a great fight, but the end result is still kind of cool. And I'm hoping that 229 shows us Hatsumi showing off some of those new techniques of his. Or maybe he just straight up uses his Aikido. That'd be cool too. I'd be good with that. Either way, what do you guys think? Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you back here next time. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.